Hi guys, welcome back to Cambridge Voices, the show in which we take people from Cambridge and we give them a voice. Today we're talking about sustainability and whether or not the council is doing enough to help it along. I'm very fortunate to be joined today by one Oliver Harwood, an owner of an electric car, to discuss the matter. Thanks very much for coming on today, Oliver.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Last year, the Cambridge City and County Councils declared a climate and ecological emergency. In their city climate change strategy from 2016 to 2025, they had 5 objectives, one of which was reducing emissions from transport by promoting sustainable transport, reducing car travel, traffic congestion, and encouraging behavior change. Oliver, as an owner of an electric vehicle, would you say that you feel that sustainable transport has been promoted?
Well, short answer, no. I mean, there's a huge difference between talking about doing something and actually promoting it. Promoting it to me seems like it involves an action of some kind, actually doing something, as opposed to talking about it.
Absolutely. So would you like to talk us through your experience of owning an electric car in Cambridge?
Yeah, well, I jumped the gun, didn't I? I mean, I read the county councils and the city councils declarations, and I was driving a diesel car, and I was reading in the newspaper every day what a filthy, awful polluter I was. And because I have to drive for my work, I'm a chartered surveyor, so I have to go visit property all over the place in order to advise on its use. And I was driving 25,000 miles a year, pouring black smoke out of my exhaust. And I just thought, this cannot go on. This is wrong. There was a change at work, a change of policy, and I was, as a director of the company, able to rearrange my car financing and ended up with an electric car. And that was just a decision I took. My office has its own parking space, so we put in an electric charging point at my office, which is fine, and charges the car within 6 hours or thereabouts.
Understandable.
Yeah, well, if I can't charge the car up here, I have to charge it elsewhere, don't I? Ask me where I can charge my car.
Where can you charge your car, Oliver?
Where can I charge my car? I can charge my car in Thetford Forest, which is 27 miles away, or I can charge my car at the services at Bishop Stortford on the M11, which is 28 miles away.
Just out of personal curiosity, how long's that trip there and back?
It takes 40 minutes to get to either part.
What's that experience for you like now that you're trapped at home?
Ridiculous. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous. I can, with the consent of my neighbours who have told me that they're cool with it, run a 13 amp cable from my house across the pavement to the car, and that takes about 24 hours to charge the car.
Right, not ideal. I think what
and I'm you know, that's actually, strictly speaking, not allowed for in the regulations.
No. So you said that was just because your neighbours sort of gave you the go ahead.
Yeah, well, and I've talked to them about it, and I've got an anti-trip cover for the wire, so you know, I'm doing it as safely as I possibly can, but I'm aware that it's only a temporary solution. It won't. I can't carry on like that. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it is ridiculous. It's more than 24 hours to charge the car.
It's not right.
And not right anyway. Why should I be putting a hazard on the pavement? I mean, you know, that's bonkers.
No.
And indeed, what about all the other people who've got electric cars? Because unless you've got your own private driveway,
which not many in Cambridge do.
Fewer than 10%, I would guess. I mean, you know, there are very, very few houses in Cambridge have their own private driveway. Very few. Less than 10% in my street, anyway.
I think it's undeniable that, on the whole, the UK, we're moving towards electric cars. By 2030, the sale of regular petrol diesel cars will be illegal.
Yeah.
As autocar.co.uk said, in the last year alone, total of over 100,000 electric vehicles were sold, representing a 180% year-on-year rise, taking the total of electric vehicles of the overall UK market to a bit over 6%, between 6 and 7%. And that trend is only continuing. We're only seeing more and more. So what provisions do you feel the council are putting into place to accommodate these electric vehicles in Cambridge?
they're talking about it. I found an electric charging point in the middle of Arbury, at the Arbury Court car park, which serves the Arbury Court shopping zone. And it's got a big sign on it which says taxis only.
That's rough.
So
That's really rough.
I asked the city council about that, and they said it's because they actually got a grant from central government for their green sustainability plan, and they thought they'd better do taxis first because taxis drive through the city centre all the time.
Right.
So they wanted the taxis to go electric first, and then they'd worry about us plebs afterwards.
Oh, just, yeah, us citizens.
Every other bloody local authority in the country has got it, or at least has done stuff to make it happen. I have talked to 2 different private providers of on-street charging solutions, and they say they've given up on Cambridge because they cannot get an answer out of the local authority.
I mean, you can't blame them. You absolutely can't
blame them. I don't know. They're good guys. They're on the side of the angels. They're doing the right thing. So given that the local authority, the city council, and the roads authority, the county council, can't between them work out how to do this, being a sort of practical sort of chap, I just thought, well, I have to do it myself then.
Which
but I haven't
you
got
shouldn't have to. But
I haven't got off-street parking, so I can't do it on my own front garden. We don't want every front garden in Cambridge ripped up. Anyway, most of Cambridge doesn't have enough front garden to put a car on. What you want is on-street chargers. Little black post mounted on the edge of the pavement, not presenting any kind of impediment to pedestrians or people in wheelchairs or baby prams or pushchairs or whatever.
Yeah.
Simple, tidy, small electric post, just a post with a plug in it. These are put up all over Islington, they're put up all over Oxford, they're put up all over Paris and Berlin, and oh God, you could just go on.
Right, so there is a precedent.
There is unbelievable. We're the only bloody city not doing it.
Which seems weird to me because as part of the job for this, I'm always like having to keep up to date with Cambridge News. The amount of tech investment in this city is insane. I feel like every other day I'm reading about a new sort of science or business park being developed on the outskirts of Cambridge. So I don't understand why it feels like to me that they're not future-proofing any of Cambridge.
Absolutely not. No. They've got plans to future-proof. They are talking about it.
Right, okay, yeah. But I also talk about becoming like a multi-millionaire, like filmmaker. So, you know, we can all talk, right?
Yeah, we can all talk. We can all talk. So my issue is simply this, that because there are no current public plans to do it, and because I'm not really prepared to destroy my front garden, and I probably wouldn't get permission to do it anyway, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I want to be able to just buy one of these posts and stick it in the pavement outside my house. And I have been asking the city council and the county council, because it's the pavement belongs to the county council and the city council gives planning consent for building things. Both, A, can I do it? And the answer from the county council said almost certainly not.
Right.
And B, if there are rules and regulations that require changing, can we at least look at changing the rules and regulations that stop me from doing it? And only last week, after 6 months, and I guess I'm keeping at it rather harder than the public service charging people who've given up after 3 months because they weren't making any money.
Yeah.
I just want to charge my car, you know, it's not a big thing. You know, I just want to charge my car.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, there is now an email from me to a named official at the city council saying, look, or at the county council, saying, look, can we just talk about this? Can we just see if there's a way round solving this little problem? I would like to charge my car without driving 27 miles to bloody well charge it.
Did you get a response?
I'm waiting for one.
That's rough, man. I'm really sorry to hear that, Oliver. It's a shame. Well, I mean, it will be something to bear in mind, I think, with the upcoming, I think it's the May, it's the local elections.
Yeah,
Be something to look
absolutely.
out for. And I mean, the earlier on I mentioned the climate change strategy. That's due to be reviewed next month as well. So I don't know about you, but
I
I'm
think
sure you will be.
we actually do need to elect people who are going to take climate change seriously.
Absolutely. I mean,
I'm a father of two children who are about your age,
yeah.
and I am worried for their future. And I don't
I'm
think
worried for my future.
yeah, well, you should be, because we are carrying on eating up the world's resources at a rate which the world cannot survive.
I mean, here we're presenting the case of one man and his electric car, but I mean, what spoke to me about the story is that it's indicative of just a much larger problem, I think, with the council. It's like you said, they're declaring these emergencies, but then when you actually try to follow up and see what they're doing to act on it, it sort of seems like, well, we said it was a thing, we acknowledged it, but
Well,
what's
no,
next?
actually, the city council declared an emergency, and they decided that they were going to do what they could do about it for themselves. So they have been busy insulating their own buildings and putting solar panels on the roof and things like that.
Right.
But those are the buildings owned by the city council.
Hmm.
That's not the public sphere. That's the private sphere owned by the city council.
Yeah.
Not us.
I'd be curious to see what percentage of Cambridge's like overall like emissions the council themselves are directly responsible for, because I'm betting it's probably not that much, right?
Not that much, yes.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, to me at least, it seems performative. I want to have like rocks thrown in through my windows now by different councillors, but oh well.
No, I mean, they need encouragement. They need encouragement, but
We say it with love.
I suspect that the city council has spent quite a lot of money insulating its own buildings and putting solar panels on the roof. But they have a responsibility for the public sphere as well. It's not enough for the city council just to insulate its own buildings. They have to make it possible for other people to do things like charge electric cars and stuff like that. They have to make it possible, make it easy. They should make it so easy that it's easier to do it than to carry on emitting carbon, polluting the atmosphere. They should make it so easy that you'd be brain dead to buy a diesel car. You would simply want to buy an electric car because it was also swimmingly easy and perfect. Anyway, we digress. I would, if we're going to use your marvelous channel to send any message at all, I would say this: before you vote, just ask your councillor what they are going to support by way of the county budget and the city budget, which they are responsible for, to go towards addressing these real issues. Not promises, not more warm words. What are they actually going to spend money on to sort the problem? Have they appointed a climate change officer whose job it is to draw all these strands together in the council, and who has reporting lines from heads of department to the climate change officer? And the climate change officer has to sign off any of their plans as commensurate with a 2050 target.
Absolutely. Well, Oliver, thank you so much for joining me on the show today and for sharing your story.
You're very welcome.
Right.
Thank you for a fun channel.
Thanks very much. As always, if you have your own story that you'd like to see on the show, please email in to cambridgeunwrapped@gmail.com or hit us up on any of our socials linked down below. We also want to hear your take on the story. How do you feel about sustainability in Cambridge? Do you feel that the council are doing enough? Let us know. We want to hear it. Oliver, thank you once more.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.